Los Angeles Lakers and the OKC Thunder and the Lakers here. They've just been blowing teams out all season so far. They win this one by 29 points, 128-99. So they improved to 10-3, and the young Thunder team falls to 5-6 here. Marc Gasol, 23 minutes, 3 points, 5 rebounds and assists, 1 and 2 from the field, 1 for 1 from the 3-point line. So Marc Gasol, he don't have fantasy value. Like I've been saying in other videos, he's a big body for this Laker team, but he's just not getting the job done. And he's helping them defensively and stuff, but for fantasy basketball, he's not. Caldwell Pope, he had a big game the other night, but in this one, 10 points, 3 rebounds and an assist, 4 or 6 from the field, and 2 or 4 from the 3-point line. So Caldwell Pope, he's a player. He should be owned in probably 14-team leagues or deep, or maybe 12 if you got big roster spots. But Caldwell Pope, he's been up and down so far this season. He dealt with an injury, and the guy we saw in the bubble, I don't think we're going to see him this season here with this Laker team. So he should be on most waiver wires. LeBron James, another night at the office, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 9 and 20 from the field, and 5 for 8 from downtown. So LeBron, he's putting up the numbers you expect. He's hitting 3-pointers as well all of a sudden this season, and his free throw percentages went up a little as well. So LeBron, I thought he would sit out a lot of games this year, and obviously so far he didn't sit out any. Maybe his minutes have been cut a little, but that's because most of these games here are blowouts by halftime with the Lakers. And so far the Lakers, they've had an easy schedule, but the competition in the Western Conference has really went down this offseason, and now with this James Harden deal, a whole ton. They just versed the Rockets twice this week, and they beat them up pretty good. So this Laker team, they're playing well. Anthony Davis, another thing like LeBron, he only played 24 minutes. He gave you a decent stat line, 18.7 boards and an assist, 8 of 13 from the field. So Anthony Davis, his minutes have gone down a lot. His production's gone down. And I think this Laker team, they're on autopilot mode. I mentioned this another time too, where they're just going out there, they're beating up on these bad teams like they're supposed to. And you're not getting as much fantasy impact and output that you're expecting so far from these Laker teams. But when they play better teams and the lights are on and it's a primetime game on national TV, I think they'll have bigger games. Dennis Schroeder, a good one in this one. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 of 12 from the field, 1 for 3 from downtown in 31 minutes. So Schroeder, this is what you're going to get from him. Most night stat lines like this, he's got a good usage rate with the ball in his hands, and so far he's been a big pickup here for this Laker team. And for fantasy owners that took him in the 8th and 9th round, he's living up to that value. Montrezl Harrell, a good one in this one, 21 points, 6 rebounds in 24 minutes, 8 of 12 from the field for Montrezl. And Harrell, he won the 6th Man of the Year last year, and he's going to be fine. He's a player possibly you could buy on the low as well. His points per game have dropped by 5, but he's playing well. He's giving you what you expected, getting him in the later rounds of your fantasy drafts, 9th to 10th round. And this Laker team, it's hard for most guys to have consistent stats when you play with 2 superstars like LeBron and Davis. Markieff Morris, he had a good game in this one, but it was mostly garbage time for these guys. 23 minutes, 11 points, 7 boards, 2 assists. Only in the deepest of leagues maybe you'll consider to get him. Caruso even played 22 minutes, 6 points, a rebound, 2 assists. Kuzma, only 18 minutes. He's not worth an ad. 7.6 boards. And Horton Tucker, a guy where a lot of teams are going to be interested in him in the offseason. 13 minutes, 4 points, 2 boards, 4 assists. If Horton Tucker was on another team getting big minutes, he probably would have fantasy value in 12-team leagues. Now to the Thunder. Roby, he got the start in this one. Al Horford, he didn't play because of rest and load management. So Roby in the spot start for him, 24 minutes, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. So that's a decent game for Roby at the center position. Horford, he's going to be a mainstay in the starting lineup here, obviously, for the Thunder, unless he gets traded. So Roby, he would only have fantasy value if that would be the case, if Horford gets traded. George Hill, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 of 8 from the field. So Hill, he don't really have fantasy value unless you're in the deepest of leagues. I know he's starting, but he's more of a mentor, and he's just going to help in 3-point shots and scoring if he has a good night. Lucas Dort, down game for him, 9 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 24 minutes of play. And this young Thunder team, they didn't stand a chance in this one versus the Lakers. So we saw a lot of empty stat lines and underperformance games here by the Thunder. And that's what's going to happen some nights with this team. But this team's still competing. These young guys are playing hard. And they'll find their way, I believe, as the season goes on. There's going to be growing pains, but they are 5-6 so far, and that's not a terrible start. Gilgeous-Alexander, he had a good scoring game, but didn't give you anything else in this one. 5 of 12 from the field, 17 points, and 1 for 3 from downtown. He's a stud. He was drafted in the top 30 in most fantasy drafts, and so far, he's giving you that production in this one. Bazley, another off game for him. 24 minutes, 3 points, 5 rebounds. So hopefully Bazley, he could get things going, because the last 3 or 4 games he's been struggling for this Thunder team. But he's another guy that should be owned in 12-team leagues or deeper, because he's getting the opportunity and he's starting pretty much the whole season so far here. Diallo, 20 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. Diallo, he was a recommended pickup this week on waivers at the guard position. So if you didn't check that video out, check it out. I think he'll be well. He's a decent player, and he's going to get opportunities as well. So that was the Los Angeles Lakers and OKC Thunder recap.